slides over his life?
Yes, he took about 200,000 3D slides, and he actually was the rep for the 3D camera called Stereo Realist.
That's it in the center
that
there.
Is. And he picked up that camera in 47.
That's you in the center, right?
That is me in the center, and this is the last time, my girlfriend Jennifer Edwards, the last time Dad took us to Disneyland. That was in 1970.
This is their Harold and his wife, your grandmother Mildred.
Yes.
In their first house, right?
In their first house on Irving Boulevard in Hancock Park, and this is before they even had my mother. These photographs are in 3D, but they were called Keystone. And
so even in the 20s, he was interested in 3D.
He was fascinated. In fact, this 3D slide comes from an outtake from Girl Shy, a movie he was shooting in his own studio in 1924. And we have no film, we only have outtakes taken with these photos.
That's great.
He believed that 3D was the next movement in motion pictures.
So this is the Green Acres estate where you grew up, actually.
It is, and this is the bottom of the Cascades. This house was started being built in 1927. This is actually my mother on the right, and then Dad, her sister Peggy, and Harold Jr. And this is a picture of my mother. That's their first child.
Harold without his glasses, of course.
Yes, this is the entrance court at Green Acres. It's in Beverly Hills up Benedict Canyon, and it's 16 acres. It's now a National Trust home. This is the dollhouse, very famous dollhouse. Everybody talks about it. It says, "Come into my garden and play." And this is actually my parents, and it's the only picture I have with my parents because they were getting a divorce at that point. Well, I ended up at Green Acres having my grandparents raise me. So obviously I'm using very good use of the house. And I have now taken
Those boots
over
are made for walking.
completely. So I inherited the dollhouse. I'm getting a little older here, and I happen to be kind of a favorite tester product for my grandfather with his camera. So anytime he got a new lens or some gimmick to go with shooting cameras, it was always, "Sue, where are you?" He was very proud of his home and loved it very much. And this is about the era when he did pick up his camera in 47. Again, a shot of the Cascades. It was a magnificent home. This part of the house is actually still there. This was our entrance, the entrance hall. And the ceiling was 27 feet high. Now this is Harold in his library.
Who's the dog?
Well, you'll see the dog in, I think, 1 minute. Look at that.
I think I feel the same way about that dog.
That dog's Nicky. Oh, I guess he wants to read up a little bit on him.
Harold clearly loved playing around with this depth, and he also clearly understood how to use 3D.
Great. He was just a big kid himself. Now this is a beautiful girl that he
Carol
Lindley.
Who's that?
Wow. That's Marilyn Monroe when she was up at Green Acres doing a photo shoot for How to Marry a Millionaire.
It's wild.
This was the modeling agency that used to come up and with a lot of photographers to do covers for magazines.
The year-round Christmas tree.
Yeah, this was Harold's year-round Christmas tree. It's packed with about 8,000 ornaments. That was another one of his passions. But photography, 3D photography here is his passion, and he loved playing around. So we got 2 Harolds. And now I think we're going to go to Disneyland.
There you are. Who are those ladies with you?
Well, the lady on the left in the blue sweater is Mildred Davis Lloyd, my grandmother, and Harold's leading lady. And obviously, this is right at the opening, and this is, I think, the 3rd day, and it is very calm again, and very new. And the good part about it was Harold had an excuse to go to Disneyland because he had take there, which he did repeatedly for years.
And you told me Harold's publicist ended up working for Disney and that he helped him get a job.
Harold's publicist, who worked for him for years with his films, ended up working at Disney for 40 years. His name was Joe Reddy.
It's a 3D camera,
And
so
that's
somebody got some special access.
Yes. And if you notice, these are the first plantings in the park.
Crazy.
And it's, so new.
And Walt Disney lived very close to you at Green Acres, didn't
Yes, he did. He actually, we went down our back driveway. His house was half a block away. So, again, this is my grandmother and my nanny, Kathleen Lippiett, who actually raised the other children, my mother and my uncle and my aunt.
he? Terrific. That is a great 3D
Is that
shot.
great? Look at those bows in the children's hair.
Yeah.
Now this is Artist Corner, right in front of the, what's that, the Plantation restaurant that is still there. Oh, all right. The gentleman sitting there is actually my grandfather's assistant, but he used to act in Harold's movies, and he cut all of Harold's 3D photography. His name was Roy Brooks. The dimension, Harold was a great photographer, and the dimension that he got out of knowing how to shoot 3D photography is amazing.
That little fence is kind of scraggly.
What about the dirt too, with the
Yeah.
plantings?
Nobody cared. They were at Disneyland.
Oh, they loved it. But it's so new. And this band was wonderful because it traveled, the Disney marching band went all over, onto the boat, onto the Mark Twain, all through the park all the time.
Well, the whole park is scored and well understood the importance of music.
They look like they're right on the Turner Disney Cruise.
There you go.
Right. But this was right in New Orleans,
Yeah.
is where that filigree is. Now,
It
Here
wasn't called
goes-
that because they hadn't built it, but it had that flavor.
See?
Yeah.
now the Wells Fargo, this is where the Wells Fargo ride was, and then this is the little train ride.
Guy has a suit jacket on.
Now, these little mules, I don't know, I think they only, that actually is me on the horse back there, but this little, the mule, pack mules only lasted about 6 years because the mules got to be a little cranky with all the children. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And the Wells Fargo wagon here, it's amazing. Those children could fall off. That could be a very dangerous suit for Disney.
How
No, I don't think.
trees are so ungrown yet.
Unbelievable. And the little kayaks, I don't think they have them. Well, I got my first Mickey balloon there that day. I look very happy with everybody. My grandparents were wonderful. They traveled me all over the world with them, took me to wonderful amusement parks and museums. I had a very special life with them. Well, you're right in with the band. Isn't that a sweet picture of the little boy?
Mm-hmm. Again, the guy in a suit. The ever-burning cabin.
No, that's not there anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, lots been changed. it's going to be Star Wars land back there now.
Here comes his ride. He's waiting on the dock.
I love how he always has things in the foreground.
To come out at you for the depth quality. And the detail of everything comes out so well.
Again, the ladies in their dresses, look at that. It's just...
Isn't that amazing? And the famous Jungle Cruise. That was one of my favorite rides besides my other favorite, the teacups. We might have a shot in here at the teacups.
This was my favorite place to eat, the Chicken of the Sea pirate ship, where you could go sit under Captain Hook's the Skull Rock from Peter Pan. That's a great shot with the teacups and the ship in the background.
That was my...
The sails aren't on the ship yet even.
No.
There's the sails, so you can see what it started to look like a little bit later. The pirate flag up in the top.
Peter Pan ride is always a favorite for everybody, especially my grandmother loved that. Now this is an interesting view. These were from the buckets. They were the sky ride, and they go through the Troilian, through the Matterhorn. But look at the dirt in the back here, and the construction in the open fields.
Yeah, they're not open anymore. Again, the bright colors of all the paint in Fantasyland.
I know he was
That
just
chalet there is still there, but they're tearing it down for Star Wars Land. A silent film star and her granddaughter getting ready to ride Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Gotta love that. And the ears used to flap there, you can see, but they never quite worked right.
The angle of that was great.
Yeah.
And look at the crowds. There's really no one there. Oh, and the carousel. My grandmother took me on the carousel. The white horse. And Peter Pan ride coming off.
The saddle shoes you were in there?
Yes, saddle shoes.
The Mickey Mouse Theater again, the
Yeah.
Tea Party. Used to not be able to see Disney cartoons that easily, so going into that theater was really special. Now everything's on a DVD, you can pop it anytime you want.
And I believe that's where the Mouseketeers actually performed in the Mickey Mouse Theater.
They also had a circus tent that for a while that they performed in.
Oh, no.
Again, no landscaping.
No landscaping at all. I think that some of the park had just been open about 3 days.
That balloon guy looks really excited.
Another balloon out of the sky. On it.
Here we are in Tomorrowland with the clock at the front there.
And this is right before
The
this
dairy
is like
bar.
showing the Utopia. And there are a lot of bars here.
Yeah.
There is
Dairy bar, the hat bar, the space bar.
with no drinks, just different things to purchase.
And that very futuristic waste paper container.
Now they don't have these covers, or like they're almost like mushroom
Yeah,
shades, umbrellas.
that's a great shot with all
That's
the
one of my
flags.
favorites.
There's the yacht bar. We had to have another bar. Again, very few people there.
And look at the cars.
Yeah,
Look at,
totally.
I mean, Utopia, and look at how you weren't even didn't have seatbelts.
Well, there's
nothing,
there's
no
no rail in the
railings.
center guiding you. You
There's
were
nothing.
ready
You
to go.
you gotta-
Circorama there. The van going through. And there you are.
My
One of the
favorite.
first people in the teacups.
Teacups. I love it.
And that's our show, right? Let's hear it for Robert Sanders. Okay, so Sue, I think we have a couple of special prizes we're going to give out here. So we have to come up with some trivia questions here.